Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ako po ay si Angel Abella ng NTF ELCAC Media Bureau at narito po kami ngayon upang ipahayag ang tanging katotohanan lamang sa ating bagong programa, ang FAQcheck. Sa FAQcheck, layunin namin na ipakita sa inyo ang mga tagumpay ng ating pamahalaan, lalo na po sa larangan ng NTF ELCAC ng National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. Sa bawat episode, mag-uusap tayo tungkol sa mga nagawa ng ating gobyerno sa pagsusulong ng kapayapaan at kaunlaran sa ating bansa. Ngayon, ipapakilala ko po ang ating kapwa-host na isa rin sa ating mga tagapagsalita sa NTF ELCAC na siya ring head ng NTF ELCAC Media Bureau at ng Integrated Communications Operations Center. Walang iba po kundi si Sir Joel C. Egco. Director, good morning po. Magandang fact check na umaga.
Yes, good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu, Angel. And of course, sa ating pong mga kababayan dyan, from the land of the rising sun to the pearl of the Orient. So, this holy Monday of Lent morning, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a very special topic here on Fact Check, where your frequently asked questions and not so frequently asked questions are answered truthfully by our panel of resource of expert resource speakers. And we are very lucky today because we're going to have no less than the big boss, no, the top boss of NTF ELCAC, and he will be discussing updates on the ongoing campaign to fully dismantle all the weekend guerrilla fronts of the New People's Army all over the Philippines. Alam po ninyo, recently sabi nga nila bakit daw may mga skirmishes. Those skirmishes pa na sinasagawa ng NPA are nothing but desperate attempts, desperate acts, no, to project an image of strength. Even yung mga grupo nga na maliliit lang 5 lang, 10 lang, uh, ay nakakagawa pa ng mga ganyang aktibidades, no, o karahasan. However, we're not downplaying that because our security forces are on top of the situation. But of course, that's only part of the story. The bigger story is that over the past few weeks or months, we have seen the dismantling of already weakened guerrilla fronts of the NPA in various parts of the country. And ano pong ibig sabihin nito? Of course, that only means one thing, that we're already on track to achieve genuine peace and development, meaning from ending local communist armed conflict, we're really nearing transition to become a task force, of course, of unity, peace, and development. And of course, this is very timely, ladies and gentlemen, because on Friday, I think it's the 29th, the New People's Army will be observing its anniversary. 55 years or so of nothing but bloodshed, of nothing but terror, of nothing but death and lost lives of our youth and fellow Filipinos for the past 55 years or so. Grabe. So, ano po ang masasabi natin dito? That will be answered later on by our esteemed guest for today's Fact Check episode. And of course, since this is the holy week of Lent, our resource speaker will give the NTF ELCAC's message of peace on this holy Monday of Lent for every one of us, to ponder upon, to think about, and appreciate, especially what the NTF ELCAC has been doing over the past several years, in pursuit of peace and development for the country and, of course, for all our countrymen. So, I'd like to announce also that starting today, Fact Check po will be live streamed on various social media accounts of NTF ELCAC, including Facebook, of course, YouTube. We have our official web page, and later on sa ating pong Instagram page, so that most people will be able, will be able to see, watch, and hear genuine messages coming from ELCAC. Kalimutan po natin yung mga propaganda ng kabila. You just have to ask us, listen to us, hear us, and watch us. And at this point, if we have friends in the media, who would want to ask questions later on during our open forum, please feel free to do so using the usual lines of communications. No, you can chat in the chat box, you can message me direct or Angel, no, or just post your questions on our Facebook page. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, mga kababayan, I'd like to introduce to you today our very esteemed guest, our boss, our top principal in the NTF ELCAC, who is responsible in the overseeing the day-to-day activities of the task force. So I am referring to no other than Undersecretary Ernesto Torres Jr., who is the executive director of NTF ELCAC. Boss, you have the floor. Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu, Director Joel, at a blessed Monday also, no, to Angel, Luis, Camille, at sa lahat ng mga nakikinig at nanonood sa atin ngayon. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to give an update on the current activities of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. Ano? Very timely rin, sabi nga ni Director Joel kanina, because we would like the public to be informed on where we are in our campaign against the New People's Army, no? Together with the CPP and the NDF, in relation to their again celebration of the 55th founding anniversary nila, para malaman ng mga tao at mapagtanto rin ng mga kapatid natin na nandiyan pa rin sa bundok kung gaano ka-futile, no, yung kanilang mga efforts in overthrowing the government. So please allow me to give my opening statement in relation also to the celebration of this Holy Week. So once again, greetings to all those who are with us this morning. Holy Week is a time of reflection and renewal for many Filipinos. It is a period when people come together to observe centuries-old traditions, honor their faith, and foster a sense of community. As we observe the Holy Monday today, let us reflect on the importance of achieving lasting peace and achieving sustainable development in our nation. The National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, embracing this season, underscores the instrumental role of every Filipino in this endeavor, as we strive to dismantle all guerrilla fronts by the end of this year. To date, we have declared insurgency-free to 3 regions, namely Ilocos, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Davao regions. Just recently, we are pleased to announce that Surigao del Norte has been declared an insurgency-free province. So it was declared as such on March 15 of this year. So it was just last week. Indeed, our collective efforts today will echo through generations as we lay the groundwork for a bequest of peace and progress. So this morning, I would be given an opportunity to give you an update on the Barangay Development Program, on the status of our remaining guerrilla fronts. Also, I would be giving you an update on the status of our Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program, and maybe we can discuss also the just recently passed amnesty program. It was passed already by both houses of Congress. And then we can also talk about our roadmap, our road towards zero guerrilla fronts, and maybe on the side, we can talk about the sacrifices of our soldiers also. So with that, once again, thank you for having me here this morning, and I'm now ready for our discussion, Angel.
All right, thank you, boss. Thank you, sir, Yusek Torres. And let's go straight to the elephant in the room. So from 11 weekend, as far as I recall, I think last January, how many Weekend guerrilla fronts do we still have, and ilan yung na-dismantle recently, boss?
Well, right now we have 0 active guerrilla fronts,
Mhm.
but we still have 11 weekend guerrilla fronts, 5 in Luzon, 3 in the Visayas, and another 3 in Mindanao. But as we speak now, Director Joel, meron ng mga submission for the eventual uh, total dismantling of 2 guerrilla fronts in the Visayas and another one in Mindanao. So very soon, hinihintay na lang natin yung official validation ng dismantling of these 3 weekend guerrilla fronts. We would be making that announcement. So for this particular year, for the past year, 2023, coincidentally, 11 guerrilla fronts din yung na-dismantle noon. Kasi if you remember, at the start of 2023, 22 guerrilla fronts yung kinoconfront pa natin. So naging 22 weekend guerrilla fronts, no? So yung 11 na dismantle last year. So with the neutralization of 1,042 members of the CTG and the recovery of 1,454 firearms and retrieval of 411 anti-personnel mines and the discovery of 283 hideouts, no? And ito yung mga mga accomplishments ng ating pledge cluster, yung peace, law enforcement, development and security cluster. Also, last year, the cluster, through the efforts of the pledge cluster, we realized the clearing of 409 targeted CTG affected barangays within the year. So last week, nakausap natin si Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Secretary of National Defense nung nagpunta tayo sa Surigao del Norte for the declaration ng insurgency-free province of Surigao del Norte. No? And he is very confident in informing us and the public that towards the end of this year, pati yung mga vertical formations, meaning yung mga armadong naiiwan pa na mga pinanggit mo kanina, our security sector would strive to defeat all of this, no? As they as they plan to transition to territorial or external defense na din. So we are of course confident that with the help of everybody and the efficient functioning of all the joint regional task forces all over the country, this mission is very, very much attainable. So, in fact, just for this month, marami tayong mga joint regional task force ELCAC na nag-conduct ng kanilang meeting presided by the newly designated Cabinet Officer for Regional Development and Security. Just for the information ng mga nanonood sa atin, bawat region po ng ELCAC is being headed by a cabinet secretary. So they are the ones harmonizing the effort of the Peace and Order Council and the Regional Development Council for the purpose of bringing basic services, resolving the concerns on poverty, infrastructure, providing livelihood, lahat po ng mga ito dun sa mga vulnerable communities natin, yan po ang trabaho ng CORDS. And just this March, Director Joel and Angel, 5 JRTFs conducted their joint meeting ng RPOC and RDC. And these are Region 4B. Diyan po si Secretary Ivan Uy ang CORDS dyan. And then Region 5 also. And then Region 6, NCR also had their JRTF meeting last, I think that was last Friday, no? Last Friday. And JRTF Caraga will be having their meeting also this afternoon to be presided by Secretary Amena Pangandaman. So we will be joining that meeting also this afternoon. So I'm reporting this to stress the fact that lahat po ng ating mga regional task forces ELCAC at hindi lang po dito sa national level ay very aggressive, no, in converging all of their efforts to really solve, no, the root causes of insurgency in our country.
Thank you, boss. In relation to that, I have read some news articles, no, in the past few days. No, parang merong konting misunderstanding, or they are deliberately being misled by the enemy, no, by the other side. Well, on believing na weekend daw pero nakapag-conduct sila ng atrocities. No, so na-equate ng ibang tao. Well, that's one form of misinformation and disinformation na active pa kami kasi hindi totoo yung sinasabi ng ELCAC na wala nang active at weekend na lang at may mga na-dismantle. In fact, nakapag-conduct pa sila ng harassment. You mentioned about the vertical forces of the People's Army. Maybe this is a great opportunity to clarify that, no, to our people. Bakit sila nakapag-conduct pa nun? Ano ba yung vertical forces na tawag, sir?
Well, probably we should inform the public first kung ano yung characteristics ng isang area kung na-dismantle na yung kanilang guerrilla fronts doon. No? When we say that a particular area ay wala na yung guerrilla front doon, yung kanilang political and military structure has been dismantled already. Okay? Yung kanilang capability to launch violent activities has been degraded significantly, pero hindi naman po zero. Maaaring may naiiwan pa dyan ng isang squad, meaning mga 7 na katao na pwedeng magkasik ng lagim. Pero what is very important characteristic of a cleared area ay yung mass-based support nila at saka resource generation is almost nil. Meaning, yung mga tao doon mismo ang nagbibigay ng information na sa mga security forces natin kung sila ay nagre-recover or bumabalik pa doon to conduct atrocities or to extort money. So yun po yung mahalaga doon. Napakasikip na ng mundo nila kaya nagkakaroon pa ng mga enkwentro because in their attempt to recover mass bases, in their attempt to generate resources, yung mga tao na rin mismo ang nagtuturo sa kanila. So kaya po nababangga natin pa rin sila. Pero yung kanilang capability, no, ay almost nil na nga po dun sa isang lugar. So yun yung itsura ng isang cleared area. Barangay Intelligence Network has been established. Tapos yung Integrated Territorial Defense System, meaning yung mga civilians, yung mga paramilitary, and some regular soldiers and PNP members, sila yung nagtutulong-tulong to provide that integrated territorial defense system. And isa pa, yung barangay-based institutions are well functioning to facilitate the delivery of basic services in a particular area. So yan po. Pero kinakailangan talaga, Director Joel, na talagang isustain natin yung ganitong characteristics ng isang area nang sa ganun ay hindi na po makabalik yung mga kalaban. So, sa buong Pilipinas, the figures that we had at the start of the year is 1,500 sila. But we had received a report that from January to March, about 422 yung na-neutralize na. So we are looking at siguro mga 1,100 na lang yung may iwan dyan if we are to input and assume na wala na silang na-recruit back during that period of time. Although dyan naman part of our sustainment of our peace gains na effort natin, tatlo yung napaka-importante. We need to prevent the recruitment of our youth and student sector, no? Na hindi sila ma-target, hindi sila ma-radicalize at eventually ma-recruit sa armed organization ng CPP, NPA, NDF. Ikalawa, we need to look at the vulnerable sectors na hindi sila ma-exploit. And I'm referring sa labor sector, yung ating dito sa Manila, yung mga urban poor communities natin. The IP sector, isa rin yan na tinitingnan natin. And pangatlo, we need to prevent yung kanilang resource generation. Eto na naman, baka sa mga darating in preparation for the election, baka mamaya may mga attempt na naman silang mag-extort, ano?
Correct.
But as we have experienced during the last election, very encouraging kasi po yung mga nilalapitan na mga tumatakbo for elective posts, sila na mismo yung nakikipagtulungan sa mga security sectors para at least ay hindi makapag-extort o hindi makapaghingi yung mga grupo na to, no? Nakaramihan naman ay nagpapanggap na lamang po bilang mga NPA, pero actually buhay-buhay na lang, hanap buhay na lang nila yan. So that is the current state, Director Egco. But yun nga, as we talk with the JRTFs natin, let this not be a reason, this rosy picture of peace and development, let this not encourage us to be complacent. But the more that we should exert our effort really in aggressively providing the needed services and interventions sa mga vulnerable barangays. Sana po mas magtulong-tulong pa tayo, but we would be experiencing some focus in the way we implement our programs, because in the past year, we focused more dun sa security aspect of our counterinsurgency efforts. But as the operational environment has changed already, we would be focusing more on efforts to harmonize the efforts, the programs of all the government agencies, including the private partners. We will also focus more on attaining lasting peace in every province, in every barangay in our country, and to ensure that development would reach the farthest and the most isolated barangays in our country.
Yeah. Thank you, Boss. That leads us to the question of Jing Villamente from the Daily Tribune. So sabi niya, okay, after dismantling, what's next? So I think this will provide us also a huge opportunity, to explain, kasi itong kalaban, lagi sinasabi NTF ELCAC, military police, gera, di ba? So I think we need to repeat over and over again. Kasi ganun sila, repeat 1,000 times ang isang kasinungalingan, it becomes the truth. So we repeat the truth 1,000 times to debunk their lies. So what happens next after itong dismantle sila lahat, or even as they have become weakened, yung mga regions na ito na wala ng guerrilla fronts, and those that are still being pestered by the few remnants of the NPA. So what's NTF ELCAC going to do, Boss?
Well, as I initially mentioned a while ago, we need to recalibrate our programs from yung NTF ELCAC, by the title alone, National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. So the main purpose of the National Task Force is to address the armed component of the CPP, NPA, NDF with the significant weakening of their capability, their armed capability in conducting atrocities. It may trigger the shift already, and it would signify that the NTF ELCAC has already accomplished its mission in ending the armed component. So it is possible that the NTF ELCAC, upon accomplishing its mission, would transition into another task force. But this time, maybe what we are looking at is a national task force for unity, peace, and development. So with a different, with a mission that is more focused now in establishing lasting peace and sustainable and inclusive development. And part of the transition right now in preparation to that, yung pong mga 12 clusters natin, national clusters natin sa NTF ELCAC, to include yung ating Stratcom cluster, yung ating situational awareness and acknowledgement cluster, yung mga nabanggit ko kanina, yung peace, law enforcement, development cluster, basic services clusters, and 8 other clusters. No, they have been conducting workshop already in order to prepare for this eventual
Hi.
transition. And the result of this workshop would be an implementation plan per cluster that would compose the proposal when we have finally defeated all the weekend guerrilla fronts that would trigger the recommendation for the shift. No? So yung po yung nakikita natin, and we of
Yes.
course would like to get the support of everybody, yung ating po mga kababayan. Ano? We have seen and experienced already that together there is nothing impossible that we cannot attain. That together we can really resolve the problems of the different problems that is brought about by this insurgency problem. So lahat po sana, ganun pa rin, whole of government approach, whole of nation participation founded on good governance, yan pa rin po ang magiging pundasyon natin in as we transition into another mandate. So
Yeah.
that's what we are looking at now. But again, I just would like to stress this, Director Egco, at this point in our campaign, we should not be complacent
Yes.
because they are still trying to recover. Lalong-lalo na no, yung kanilang international efforts,
Yeah.
yung mga programa ng International Department ng CPP-NPA, if you have observed, they are very, very active. Even to the
Yes.
United Nations, they are trying to influence and submit irrational and yung iba po, mga hindi mga katotohanan na mga reports dun sa mga member countries ng International League of People's Struggle.
Yes.
This is an organization that was set up by Joe Masison in 2001. Siya po yung chairman. If I may just make
Go ahead po.
our viewers aware of the existence of that organization kasi hindi masyadong binabanggit po, no? Kasi napaka-importante na maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan at mga partners din po natin dito sa trabahong to that there exists an International League of People's Struggle which was established by Joe Masison in 2001. So right now, siya po, siyempre, since siya yung founder noon, siya yung unang chairman niyan, right now it has a membership from 40 different countries. Okay? And then yung dati niyang deputy was is an Australian, no? Siya na ngayon yung chairman ng ILPS.
Wow.
Okay? So do you see that, no? And part of their coordinating committee, and this might surprise you, Joel, ano? Yung kanilang ang Secretary General ng ILPS is no other than Lisa Masa of Gabriela.
Wow.
Tapos kasama po ng coordinating committee nila, sila Elmer Labog,
Wow.
of EMU, si Sarate of KMP, and what's his name sa Ibon Foundation, Tijuan yata, something like that. I'm sorry, I forgot the name, no, but one of the prominent persons in Ibon Foundation, they're part of the coordinating committee. So you can see here that they have a platform, no, ready to give out, no, kung saan nila pinapadaan yung mga revolutionary narratives nila about the Philippines, all for the purpose of making yung pong our country yung image ng ating country ay hindi maganda sa international community. So what I'm saying here is we need to be more aggressive, and we have to continue our efforts also dito sa ating information operation and make the public know about the truth dun sa deception and propaganda of the CPP, NPA, and DF, so that they can make the right decisions for themselves, no, as to whether to support the advocacy of these certain groups or not.
Yes. Tama yan, boss, na buti na banggit mo yung ILPS kasi panggulat nila yan eh. Minsan ang mga kababayan natin nagugulat, biglang sa Australia, merong senador na lalabas ang placard na ganito. Sa UN, ang daming nakikinig sa kanila. It's a very good information that na alam natin. And we have to inform our fellow Filipinos na very active talaga sila doon. And I know that for a fact because in 2019, when we went there during our Truth Caravan campaign, where we met various UN officials and UN rapporteurs to present the real situation in the country. Nandun talaga sila. And at one point, kami nila Yusek Katura and the team even had to walk out of a meeting. Kasi nararamdaman namin na, talagang ang very heavy ang kanilang presence doon. Now, the question is, we have one more question but to follow through lang itong sa ILPS. Why do they do that, boss? What's the importance of having an mechanism such as the ILPS?
Well, siyempre, yung support ng international community, they are trying to generate that, no? And yung status of belligerency, when they are acknowledged sa international community as a legit organization, and then resource generation also, kinakailangan nila yan dahil nga nabanggit ko kanina, locally they're already hard up in generating resources to fund the whatever their activities are, no? But in the international community, they are thriving because of this ILPS actually.
I see.
So yun yung mga purposes nila. That's why we need to redouble our effort also, Director Joel. We, meaning we us in the government, to address that one. Dapat natatapatan din natin sila. We need to engage the United Nations also. We have to engage our partner countries kung saan meron tayong mga embassies, no? Ipaliwanag sa kanila the truth about this organization, so that yun nga, pero we laud the effort of the Department of Foreign Affairs when they issued a note verbal dun sa mga embassies natin abroad telling yung mga NGOs abroad, foreign funding agencies, who are sending support to some NGOs back in the Philippines, that before they do that, pinapadaan lang nila for vetting do sa embassy natin, so that for the purpose of making sure that the recipient NGOs here in our country are the legit organizations. Yung pa lang ay malaking bagay na, and we were told Japan and Hong Kong, they have been religiously following that coordination with the Philippine embassies.
So in short, boss, itong International League of People Struggles, ito yung kanilang mechanism to project their lie that they have already or is about to attain the status of belligerency, which I think you may agree will never happen. And because of that, project nila yan, akala ngayon ng mga tao sa abroad, yung kanilang mga contacts doon, ay talagang the Filipino people are still fighting the democratic government. So they send in their support. Is that how it works?
Well, ang nangyayari din kasi, that's why they are doing that. They would like our government to be seen or to remain as a weak government. Kung i-analyze natin maigi, Director Joel, protracted people's war sila, very patient, panahon yung labanan nila. That's why they would like any administration to be weak or appear to be weak in the international community, so that they can push their agenda slowly. Because if we have a strong government, a real strong government, and perceived to be strong also in the international community, hindi nila mai-push yung kanilang mga agenda. So it is a strategy really to support yung protected people's war nila, to always make the government of the Philippines weak. And we will not allow that to happen. And we have to do everything that we can for us really to have a stronger government, no, so that they would not be able to launch any program that alam naman natin yung dulo niyan, di ba? They want to change the government to their
Sila
brand of
umupo.
yan na sila po ang uupo. So we would not allow that to happen as long as we are, of course, we are all here, Director Egco.
Yes, boss. Thank you very much. Before we, I think, Angel, if we have questions from our friends in the media, you may, freely, relay them to Yusek Torres.
So far, Yusek Torres was able to answer the questions that needed to be answered. So far, no questions po from our media friends, sir.
All right. Oo.
Yes.
I have this one question pa, Yusek June, at the back of my mind, medyo nakalimutan ko. Nagandaan ako dun sa mga paliwanag natin about ILPS and all that, no? So, I think as promised, EDJ, Yusek Torres, this episode of FAQcheck, this Holy Monday of Lent, will be as quick as possible, will be short and sweet. We just want the people to know NTF ELCAC's message, no, to them during this Holy Week, and of course, to give them updates on on where NTF ELCAC is right now. So before we get your final message to our people here in Japan and all over the world, and of course in the Philippines, no, meron ako ito yung question na kanina pa nag-escape sa aking isip hinahanap ko ngayon. Hinahanap ko, boss, but this has something to do with but yun nga, no, we talked about the NPA and their projection of strength, and now that they have been relegated to, they were reduced to only 8 na. If the 3 weekend guerrilla fronts would be eventually declared this as dismantled. And gladly we have, so I'm sort of recapping also our discussions this morning, so we have 3 huge regions, no, that have been declared insurgency free, no. So yun, napakaganda, Yusek June, and I know our countrymen, our fellow Filipinos have learned a lot from today, and I hope that you were able, no, through your or eloquence, you were able to clarify many issues, no, that have been the subject of misinformation and disinformation by the enemy, especially yung mga attack nila, mga skirmishes, no, to project an image of strength, which actually is not. No, it's just, those were just act of desperation from a dying
Pwede natin matawag yun,
movement.
Director Joel, na parang it's been relegated to a law enforcement concern na lang din. But
Yes,
the military will still be there. Yeah.
of course. Yun. So, you mentioned that. Maganda yun, ha? When we say they're about to be or are now being relegated to just being tawag dito, law enforcement problem, no? Ito pala yung pilit kong iniisip na tanong ko kanina na laging nawawala. Is it safe to say now, Yusek June, Boss June Torres, na we are on the preparatory stage for transition? Yan ang isang angulo na hinihintay ng ating mga kapatid sa media. Are we now actually preparing for the transition?
Yes, Director Joel, and part of the effort nga yung binanggit ko kanina, the workshops that are being conducted by the 12 lines of efforts and clusters of the NTF ELCAC. So I think there are just 3 more clusters who need to conduct their workshop to come up with the implementation plan to support the transition. And also, we have visited, during the past 2 weeks, OPAPRO,
Yes.
Secretary Charlie Galvez and his primary staff, and the DND also. We went there to get their guidance para at least yung pong ating mga program as we recalibrate them, no, yung mga programs, activities natin and projects natin would be aligned with particularly dun sa mga peace efforts natin, which is being spearheaded by the OPAPRO and the law enforcement and the military
Mm-mm.
track, no, para naka-align po tayo doon sa kanila. And also, no, we have consulted also even yung grupo natin ng IPs.
Mm-mm.
Dahil malaki yung stake nila dito, lalong-lalo na
Yes.
sa Mindanao. We know for a fact that before, about 3 out of 4 na armado doon sa Mindanao come from the indigenous people community. So, yung mga yon ay ginawa natin and even OFW, we have we have
Yes.
scheduled the meeting also with Ako OFW group. It's supposed to be tomorrow, but I think it would be moved to next week because of the Holy Week. So we are all doing these things. Sabi mo nga kanina, ang term ay mga parang pre-coordination
Yes.
meetings,
Preparatory.
preparatory activities or actions towards that, so it will proceed unhampered kung yung pong ating effort would be continuous, no? Hindi dapat natin mabigyan ng pagkakataon yung mga galamay ng CPP, NP, NTF,
Yes.
pati yung kanilang propaganda to really prevent us from realizing that mission of ending the armed component of the CPP, NP, NDF. At ang makakasolve po ng sustainment of peace gains niyan ay yung mga non-military interventions na natin. And we are seeing that these sustainment efforts would be headed by the local chief executives natin, mga barangay na, munisipyo. So yan po yung nakikita natin na efforts natin in the coming months in our campaign. And more specifically, ito po yung sanang gusto nating as guided by our National Security Advisor and Vice Chairman of the NTF ELCAC, ito yung clear guidance niya as we move forward. We need to strengthen the 12 national clusters. The 17 GRTF ELCAC is steered by the CORDS. We need to support the evolution of the halfway houses into peace centers.
Yes.
To cater to the needs of the former rebels, their families, and communities, as well as the efficient implementation of the amnesty program to repossess and enjoy the political life of the FRs. So we are very thankful to the both houses of Congress at naipasa na po nila yung amnesty proclamation ng ating presidente, and we are now awaiting for the implementation of rules and regulations for its rollout, no? And ito po yung peace centers na to, they are envisioned to be the facility that would facilitate the surrenders of those who are still in the armed revolution, members of the CPP, NP, NDF. We need to also ensure that investments in the BDP or Barangay Development Program are safeguarded, monitored, and completed. For this year, we have 864 barangay beneficiaries with 2.5 million budget per barangay. And also, we need to fortify local mechanisms. Ito part pa rin ng guidance sa atin ng ating Vice Chair ng NTF ELCAC, Secretary Anyo, no? We need to strengthen student youth policies and programs on nationalism and patriotism to to dislodge CTG radicalization and recruitment activities, prevent and disrupt CTG resource generation scheme and terrorism financing, enhance the conduct of LGU-led local peace engagements, to expand the civic space of local constituents, to participate in community-based local governance, and support the transformation of FRs into productive citizens to contribute to nation building. Then another guidance is for the NTF ELCAC to continue to maintain peace and order and secure the life, liberty, and properties of all Filipinos through focused military operations and law enforcement, and continue to sustain its operational tempo. And finally, as part of the guidance of the NSA, we shall continue to achieve our set goals and objectives as laid down in our roadmap towards establishing resilient and empowered communities, with priority in dismantling the remaining 11 guerrilla fronts. So yun po
Yes.
yung ano sa atin ng ating Vice Chairman. Clear guidance, no?
All right.
As we move forward.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, boss. Thank you, Yusek June Torres. Now for your parting message, boss. I would suggest that we put a distinction, no, on the enemy. One, the hardcore abolitionists, ELCAC abolitionists, and the other, those who are embracing the transition, the transitionists. No? So we have seen so many NPA combatants who came back, no, to the folds of the law. Nakita naman natin, very touching yung pagyakap ng isa doon sa kanyang asawa or nanay ba yun nung sila'y nagkita. So we consider them as transitionists. Those who are calling for the abolition are the abolitionists, of course. Ito yung mga hardcore. Na wala nang pag-asa ito. Ito yung mga malalaki ang kaso, massacre. Kaso na ito, malalalim na crimes.
If I may,
Yes.
Director Joel, about this abolitionist, ito lang something that our viewers should think about. Why would you abolish an organization na ang purpose is to harmonize the efforts
Yes.
of the whole of government to resolve poverty,
Yes.
bring basic services, di ba? Provide livelihood,
Yes.
no? So,
The root causes of
anong
our
klaseng
conflict.
organization ka that would call for the abolition of such an organization or facility? No? But ayaw mo ma-solve yung problema natin sa poverty, ayaw mo ma-solve yung problema natin sa pagbibigay ng basic services sa mga vulnerable and isolated barangays.
Yes.
Ayaw mo magkaroon ng livelihood program. Ito po yung mga tao who are calling for the abolition of this national task force. Kasi
Yes.
wala naman ibang reason. Probably tinatamaan po talaga yung kanilang mga pinaglalaban at nasisira yung timeline nila in overthrowing this government. That's why they want to abolish such a task force na nag-harmonize ng efforts ng buong bayang Pilipino.
And your final message for the transitionists.
Well, I have here a message for our viewers and partners. Director Edco and Angel. And if I may be allowed to
Yes, boss.
to
Please
share
go
it
ahead.
with you in toto. No? Today, we stand at a crossroads, an era where peace and progress can become the cornerstones of our nation, not just distant aspirations. To every Filipino, from the bustling cities to the serene countryside, this is our collective challenge. It is time to roll up our sleeves and build the Philippines we have always envisioned, together. This isn't just about celebrating achievements. It is about striving for a future where peace feels as natural as breathing and prosperity is shared by all. We are not just seeking change. We are pursuing a transformation that requires unity, a united Filipino spirit, the very spirit admired around the world. Together, let us turn this vision into reality. Imagine a future where every Filipino child grows up free from fear, where every family thrives in a community overflowing with opportunity. This is the future we fight for. It is within our reach, but it demands every hand, every heart, and every voice. Let this vision resonate across our archipelago. Let us be bold, unwavering in our pursuit for unity, peace, and development. Together as one nation, we can write history. Together, we can build a legacy of peace and prosperity that echoes through generations. Be a part of this monumental journey. Let the world witness the true strength of the Filipino spirit. Now is the time to stand united, to rise, and to build the Philippines for our dreams. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas. Thank you, Director Joel,
Thank you.
Angel,
Thank
and
you very
Vince.
much, Undersecretary June Torres, the Executive Director of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, which is preparing to become the Task Force on Unity, Peace, and Development. Nasa status na tayo na ganon. Boss, we're going to send copies of that statement of yours, that message, your messages, the opening and the final message to the media, and of course to all of our people. All right. So at this point, I'd like, on behalf of the Integrated Communications Operations Center and the Media Bureau of NTF ELCAC, I'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to you, Boss Yusek June Torres, for appearing today, Holy Monday, no? So that ito pong mga kababayan natin ay ito maisip nila, Lent ngayon eh. Yung kanilang observance ng 50 years of bloodshed on the 29th, pasay na po yun. Wala na po yun. Irrelevant na talaga sila. No matter how desperate they become, no matter how desperate their actions may be, the people doesn't accept them. In fact, they have been thrown into the dustbin of history. All right. So with that, Angel, for your closing spiels, thank you very much. Please unmute.
Unmute. Kindly unmute. Sayang.
My bad.
There you go.
Sorry about that. Again, thank you
Bye-bye
very
na lang
much.
narinig.
And before we actually end, before we actually end our program po, I would just like to read one of our comments from our viewers from Triple Jaguar. Good morning mga sirs. Sana tuloy-tuloy ang proyekto ng NTF ELCAC, lalo na daw po sa mga liblib na mga barangays. So ayan po from Triple Jaguar, thank you. At sa lahat po ng ating mga tagapag-nood at viewers po, thank you very much. Keep these comments coming po para sa mga namin, mga sa susunod na mga episodes po ng FAQcheck ay mababasa po namin siya out loud. At ayan po, no? Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo sa aming press conference ng FAQcheck. Sa ating panauhin ngayong episode na ito, si Yusek Ernesto Torres Jr., ulit po ang Executive Director ng NTF ELCAC. NTF ELCAC Secretariat, maraming salamat sa paghahatid sa amin ng komprehensibong updates ukol sa ating pinakamamahal na task force. So, ngayon po, March 29 po, being the anniversary of the New People's Army, it is indeed a timely reminder of the challenges we faced as we continue to end the guerrilla fronts of this group. As we approach this significant date, or rather, we approach this date, let us also reflect on the deeper meanings of the Holy Week, particularly the Good Friday, which falls actually on the same day. So just as Good Friday marks a period of reflection, sacrifice, and renewal in the Christian faith, it also serves as a reminder of the sacrifices made by many in the pursuit of peace and justice. In our journey towards ending the guerrilla fronts of the NPA and ultimately ending the local communist armed conflict, let us all draw inspiration from the values of compassion, forgiveness, and reconciliation. So as we navigate through these challenges, including the end of terrorist grooming by the front organizations of these communist terrorist groups towards our youth and students, may we find strength in our collective efforts to build a better future for our nation. So let us work together towards lasting peace and prosperity, mindful of the sacrifices made by those who came before us. So muli maraming salamat po sa inyong suporta at pakikilahok sa FAQcheck. Ito ang inyong lingkod, si Angel Abella, kasama po si Director Joel C. Eco. Nagpapasalamat po kaming muli sa inyong pakikinig at pakikiisa. Naway maghari ang kapayapaan at pag-asa sa ating bayan. Muli, magandang umaga at mabuhay po ang bagong Pilipinas.